The moon hides behind a veil of clouds as Siddhartha sits beneath the Bodhi tree, his breath shallow, his heart a storm of silence. The world around him sleeps, yet within, 1,000 voices whisper in the language of doubt. The earth is cold beneath his hands, the night endless. He feels the weight of every birth and death, every unanswered question that has brought him here. His body trembles, not from hunger, but from the unbearable stillness of being. Have I come this far only to fail? He whispers to the darkness. A flicker of wind moves through the branches, like an unseen reply. In that moment he senses not peace, but the vast echo of nothingness. The stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting his fear. Somewhere in that abyss, a shadow stirs. Unseen, waiting, familiar. The hours stretch without measure. Beneath the tree, Siddhartha's mind drifts through memories. The palace, the silk and laughter, the son's cry he never held. Each image surfaces like a reflection on dark water, only to fade into ripples of regret. His heart aches for a path that might have been. He wonders if enlightenment is just another illusion, another word for escape. Perhaps the world needs me more than this silence does, he murmurs. Yet the silence answers with its own question. Who is this meme that would return? The wind grows colder. The forest seems to hold its breath, and with it, his will begins to waver. The whisper comes not from outside, but from within. A thought so intimate it feels spoken aloud. You have gone too far. He feels it coil around his spine like smoke. The air thickens. Every sound sharpens into silence. The whisper takes shape, not a voice, but an understanding. The shadow of Mara, patient, smiling, waiting. Siddhartha opens his eyes and sees nothing, yet feels a presence. Fear blooms quietly, like a bruise. He realizes that the enemy he feared most was never the world, but his own resolve. His breath shudders. The night deepens. The first illusions begin to stir. The forest begins to breathe with him. Branches swaying, roots trembling, insects silent. Mara's form flickers in and out of the air, at times a man cloaked in light, at times a shadow indistinguishable from Siddhartha's own. Why suffer? The voice murmurs. There is no sin in rest. Siddhartha's lips part, but no sound escapes. The temptation is not comfort. It is surrender. He wants to stop. The years of hunger, the endless seeking, all of it feels meaningless. Yet, beneath that exhaustion, a deeper current stirs. Compassion, faint as the first ember of dawn. He holds his breath, waiting for the next whisper. The night reaches its stillest point. The moon emerges from its shroud, spilling cold silver over the Bodhi tree. Siddhartha sits motionless, yet within him a silent war burns. Every doubt he buried rising like ghosts to demand his attention. His heart pounds like a drum beneath the weight of stillness. For an instant, he feels he might stand and walk away, abandon the search, return to the world. But the thought passes like a gust through leaves. He bows his head. If not this, then nothing. He breathes. The world waits for the answer he is not yet given. A faint wind stirs the soil around Siddhartha as his breath steadies again. The storm within his mind reshapes into whispers, forming faces he once knew. His father's stern eyes, Yasodhara's tender smile, the laughter of a son he has not seen. Each vision stands before him, shimmering, fragile, painfully real. They call his name, pleading for his return. The voices promise love, belonging, warmth. His heart lurches. The ache of human life rushes back like blood into a long, numbed limb. You were not born to vanish into silence, they say. The air shivers with longing. Yet deep within, he recognizes the deception. These are not his family. but Mara's hand shaping memory into chains. Mara emerges not as demon but as reflection, his form molded from the same dust, his voice eerily familiar. "They need you," he murmurs. "How many will suffer without your return?" Siddhartha gazes at him and feels no fear, only fatigue. The illusion of duty tightens like a rope around his chest. "What good is wisdom that abandons love?" Mara asks, his tone soft as silk. Siddhartha looks inward, to the small fire still burning there. He answers in silence. True love asks nothing to be kept. The illusions tremble. The faces begin to fade. Mara's smile remains. The night grows restless. Mara circles Siddhartha like smoke, shifting shapes. A father, a lover, a stranger, a soldier. Each illusion crafted from the fabric of Siddhartha's longing. "You speak of compassion," Mara hisses, "yet you would let them grieve." The accusation pierces deeper than any blade. Siddhartha feels the surge of guilt, heavy and human. His voice is barely a whisper. Compassion is not possession. The illusion wavers. The forest exhales. Yet Mara only smiles wider, as if the words themselves have strengthened him. "Then show me," he says, and the air thickens with thunder. The forest darkens into a world of mirrors. Each reflection of Siddhartha shows a different life. A king on a throne, a father playing with his son, a sage preaching to crowds. For a fleeting instant, he feels the pulse of each possibility, the sweetness of what could have been. But the visions collapse into dust, revealing the face of Mara once more. "You could have had everything," Mara whispers. Siddhartha looks up, eyes steady, and replies, "And lost myself?" The silence that follows feels heavier than thunder. Mara's smile fades. The first hint of unease touches his perfect calm. Lightning fractures the sky, and for an instant, the forest is illuminated in ghostly brilliance. Mara's form dissolves into smoke, spreading through the branches, whispering, "You cannot escape what you are." Siddhartha closes his eyes, letting the voice echo through him. Beneath the storm, he feels the fragile rhythm of life itself, the pulse of earth, the beating heart of every being. "Then I will not escape," he says softly. "I will understand." The thunder rolls away into silence. When he opens his eyes, the illusions are gone. Only the rain remains, washing the dust from his hands. Rain clings to Siddhartha's skin like tears that will not fall. The echoes of Mara's voice fade into memory, yet the silence it leaves is heavier than sound. He remembers the long years of wandering, the endless hunger, the company of hollow-eyed ascetics who chased salvation through pain. He recalls their faces, their pride and suffering, their emptiness. He had once believed that self-denial would bring freedom. Now it feels like another cage. Beneath the Bodhi tree, he bows his head to the earth, whispering, "What if I was wrong?" The words dissolve into mud and rain. For the first time, doubt does not frighten him. It feels human and strangely alive. As dawn threatens behind the clouds, exhaustion overtakes Siddhartha's limbs. His mind wanders through years of fruitless austerity, fasting until his bones cut through skin, praying until his breath collapsed into silence. The memory of the river returns. The time he nearly drowned, surrendering to the current before awakening in terror. That same current stirs in him now, a pull toward release. He leans forward, hands pressed into the soil, whispering, "There is no strength in refusal. There is only the fear of life." The storm lessens. The leaves above him tremble, shedding droplets like blessings unasked for. The forest hums with quiet, the first song of awakening birds, the dripping of rain from ancient branches. Siddhartha sits unmoving, yet inside him, a war continues. A single question haunts him: what is left to give when even faith is gone? He feels the ache of abandonment, of every teacher, every promise, every prayer unanswered. But beneath the ache, something softer stirs. A compassion that does not seek reward. The thought arises unbidden. Perhaps there is no path to walk, only the walking itself. He exhales slowly. The air smells of new earth and forgiveness. From the distance comes the faint sound of footsteps. Siddhartha lifts his head, not in alarm, but in curiosity. Through the trees, a young woman approaches, carrying a small clay bowl. She moves with grace, unshaken by the mud or the rain. When she reaches him, she kneels without speaking. The scent of milk and rice drifts between them, pure and familiar. For a moment, Siddhartha's eyes fill with tears. No doctrine, no ritual, only kindness silent and complete. She bows, offering the bowl with both hands. In that gesture, he glimpses the middle way, neither indulgence nor denial, but balance born from love. Siddhartha lifts the bowl in both hands, his reflection trembling in its surface. The scent of sweetness mingles with the scent of earth. He drinks slowly, the warmth spreading through his chest like the first light of dawn. For the first time in years, nourishment feels sacred. The forest brightens. Sujata smiles, and he returns it with quiet gratitude. As she walks away, her figure dissolves into the gold of morning. Siddhartha closes his eyes, resting his palms upon his knees. Balance, he whispers. The world itself is the path. The last drops of rain fall, not as sorrow, but as grace. Morning unfolds like a quiet rebirth. Siddhartha's body, once hollowed by austerity, now feels the pulse of life returning. The taste of Sujata's offering lingers on his tongue, humble yet transcendent. He feels warmth in his chest where only emptiness once dwelled. Around him, the forest breathes in rhythm with his heart. The birds sing as if to welcome something unseen. For the first time, he does not push the world away. He listens. The rustling leaves speak of balance, of life's endless flow. He realizes that renunciation without compassion is just another attachment to purity, to pride, to self. Sujata returns at the forest's edge, watching him from afar. She does not speak, but her eyes carry a silent reverence, not for a god, but for a man who has ceased to struggle. Siddhartha senses her presence and bows his head gently, not as master or saint, but as one human recognizing another. Gratitude ripples through the air between them like unseen music. Sujata smiles faintly, feeling her offering was not food, but a mirror. She turns and disappears into the morning haze, her footprints washing away in the damp soil. Siddhartha whispers, "The path begins where the self ends." Hours drift like petals in water. The wind grows gentle, carrying the scent of rain and rice. Siddhartha's mind sinks deeper into calm awareness. Thoughts rise and vanish without trace. Sorrow, joy, memory, fear, all dissolving into stillness. For the first time, he does not seek to control them. He simply watches. The boundary between self and world begins to thin, like mist before sunrise. He senses the presence of all beings. The crawling ant, the unseen bird, the distant villager stirring to life. A great tenderness floods him, compassion without object or purpose. The forest grows luminous, as if the world itself leans closer to listen. The faint echo of Mara's laughter drifts through the air. Softer now, less menacing, almost sorrowful. Siddhartha opens his eyes and sees a faint outline before him, a shadow shaped like the man he once feared. But there is no threat left in it, only reflection. "Are you not weary?" Siddhartha asks gently. Mara tilts his head, the smirk fading. "You would have me vanish." Siddhartha smiles. "No, I would have you rest." The shadow flickers, uncertain, then dissolves into the light. Compassion has undone what fear could not. As the sun reaches its zenith, Siddhartha's breath merges with the wind. Every sound, the murmur of water, the hum of insects, the rustle of trees, feels like his own heartbeat. He touches the soil, feeling its coolness, its patience. "This body is not mine," he whispers. "It belongs to the earth. This mind is not mine. It belongs to the world." A serene smile touches his lips. The middle way has revealed itself not as doctrine, but as recognition that everything arises together, breath by breath. The forest, the body, the light, and the shadow are no longer separate. They simply are. Twilight descends again, and with it, the air thickens like an approaching storm. Siddhartha sits unmoving, the serenity within him now tested by a deeper silence. From that stillness arises a low hum, not from the forest, but from the heart of the mind itself. The ground trembles faintly. Shadows stretch unnaturally long. Mara returns, not as a whisper this time, but as thunder. His voice ripples through the air. "You would dissolve the self, but who remains to love the world?" Siddhartha opens his eyes slowly. "No one remains," he replies. The horizon darkens, and lightning flares. The battle of illusion reborn. The storm erupts with a roar. Mara raises his hand, and from the darkness come forms, soldiers made of mist, their armor forged from greed and rage. They march, each step echoing through the forest. The Bodhi tree shakes, its leaves raining down like falling stars. Siddhartha does not move. The army surrounds him, blades drawn, their eyes hollow. Mara shouts, "Defend yourself, seeker!" The world will not yield to your silence. But Siddhartha's gaze softens, his voice steady. "It already has." His words ripple outward. The soldiers hesitate, their forms flickering as if doubting their own reality. The illusion intensifies. The army charges, waves of dust and fury. But when they reach the Bodhi tree, they pass through Siddhartha like smoke through air. Each apparition collapses into a swirl of ash. Mara stares in disbelief, his expression faltering. "Your mind cannot destroy what the world needs," he says. Siddhartha's reply is gentle. "The world does not need my mind. It needs its own awakening." The storm begins to falter. The thunder weakens into the rhythm of his breath. Siddhartha's silence becomes louder than all of Mara's rage. Mara steps closer, his face no longer furious but pleading. "Without desire, how will the world move? Without fear, how will it learn?" His voice trembles, torn between defiance and despair. Siddhartha rises slowly, his body still, his eyes luminous. "Desire moves the world in circles," he says softly, but compassion moves it forward. A stillness spreads, immense and invisible. The wind ceases. Mara lowers his gaze, as if seeing his own reflection in Siddhartha's calm. The battle is no longer between light and dark, but between illusion and understanding. Silence falls across the world. The storm dissipates, leaving behind the clean scent of earth. Mara's form flickers, his voice reduced to a whisper. "Will you forget me?" Siddhartha gazes at him with infinite tenderness. "You are a part of the path," he replies. "Without the night, who would recognize dawn?" Mara's expression softens into peace, a shadow returning to its source. His figure dissolves into dust, drifting upward like smoke into starlight. The forest exhales. Siddhartha lowers himself back to the earth, his palms open, his heart clear. The dark night has not defeated him. It has completed him. Night returns, but now it glows with a strange beauty. The storm has passed, yet the air hums with unspoken tension, the silence before revelation. Siddhartha sits unmoving, but Deep within, the subtlest ripple disturbs the calm. Out of that ripple arises a scent of lotus and honey, soft laughter drifting through the air. 3 figures emerge from the darkness, radiant and graceful, their movements woven with light. They are Mara's daughters, desire, pleasure, and attachment. "We bring no harm," one whispers. "Only the sweetness of life." Their words shimmer like silk over water. Siddhartha feels their warmth approach the boundary of his stillness. The last trial has begun. The air trembles with perfume and whisper. Tanha moves closer, her voice soft as breath. "You have rejected the world, yet it waits for you, longing to be touched." She brushes her fingers near his cheek, but stops short of contact. Siddhartha does not move. His eyes remain half-lidded, seeing both her beauty and the emptiness behind it. Arati's laughter rings through the clearing, light as wind chimes. "Why deny joy when joy itself is divine?" she says. Raga kneels, her voice trembling with tenderness. "To love is to live." For a moment, Siddhartha's heart flickers, not with desire, but with deep compassion for their suffering, for their illusion of need. Mara's daughters encircle him now, their voices blending into song, a hymn to longing. The melody stirs the air like incense, summoning visions. The palace he left behind, Yasodhara's laughter, the son he never held. The ache returns deeper than hunger. For an instant, the Bodhi tree seems to vanish, replaced by the memory of home. Siddhartha's breath falters. Is this what remains to love and lose forever? He wonders silently. Then the truth dawns. The ache itself is impermanent speaking. He opens his eyes, and the visions fade like mist burned by sunlight. The song turns hollow, their voices trembling into silence. The daughters falter. Their radiance dims. Their laughter fades into weariness. "Do you not see?" Arati pleads. "Without desire, there is no creation." Siddhartha smiles gently. "Without awakening, there is no compassion." Tanha's gaze trembles, as if seeing her reflection in his stillness. Raga bows her head, tears falling soundlessly. The night grows transparent. The figures begin to blur, their beauty no longer seductive but sorrowful, beings longing to be released from their own forms. Siddhartha whispers, "You too are part of the dream. Rest now." The air brightens, their faces dissolve into light. When the last echo of their voices fades, the world returns to stillness. Siddhartha sits alone once more, though nothing feels lonely. The temptations have not been conquered but understood. The body that once ached now feels weightless. The mind that once questioned now watches without judgment. Every sound, every breeze, every distant cry of life folds into one vast breath. He realizes that the end of temptation is not purity. It is compassion, endless and unbound. The night bows before him. Dawn waits at the edge of the sky. The first breath of dawn trembles across the forest. Siddhartha sits unmoving, yet the air around him vibrates with invisible rhythm. Each heartbeat echoes through the roots of the Bodhi tree, through the soil, through the sleeping earth. He is neither dreamer nor dream. The final shadow of Mara dissolves like smoke in sunlight. He no longer resists, no longer reaches. The struggle itself has ended. The light deepens, turning the mist into gold. The world, once a mirror of suffering, now shines as one perfect reflection of truth. He whispers, "The eye has awakened." Silence answers, vast, eternal, and kind. The wind carries whispers from the awakening world. The cry of a bird, the ripple of water, the soft stir of grass. Each sound feels sacred, part of the same breath. Siddhartha's mind opens like the sky itself, vast, without boundary. He perceives every being as a thread of the same infinite fabric, the hunter and the hunted, the grieving and the joyous, all bound by the same rhythm of impermanence. He smiles, not with triumph, but with compassion that has no end. The weight of lifetimes slips from his shoulders, leaving only light. The sun crests the horizon, and the world bows in silence. A gentle radiance expands outward from Siddhartha's still form. It touches the roots, the air, the clouds. A wordless understanding spreading through the morning. In that moment, he sees all his past lives flash before him. The prince, the beggar, the hermit, the seeker. Each one reaching toward this same silence. But now, there is no reaching left. Only a ripe. The illusion of separation melts away. He sees Mara's sorrow, Sujata's kindness, the pain of the world, and loves them all equally. His eyes open, reflecting both sky and earth. Awakening, he murmurs, is not escape, it is return. The earth itself seems to bow. A low tremor hums through the ground, not of destruction, but reverence. Siddhartha gazes downward, his hand brushing the soil. This earth, he whispers, is witness. The Bodhi tree shivers, leaves trembling in waves of light. The boundaries between sound and silence dissolve completely. His breath slows until it merges with the wind, each exhale a prayer for all living beings. In that stillness he becomes what he always sought, not a man above the world, but the world itself, awake within its endless dream. The sun rises fully, and the night that began with doubt now ends in pure, wordless clarity. Siddhartha sits in radiant stillness, neither prince nor monk, only presence. The world hums with awakened life. He feels the weight of infinite compassion settle into his being like breath, filling a lung. Every sorrow now has meaning. Every moment, beauty. He smiles, his lips forming the simplest truth. I am awake. The camera drifts upward, revealing the Bodhi tree bathed in gold, the forest alive with light. The dark night has become eternal dawn.